All right, welcome back to Flugga Socks, the podcast, episode 236. Today on the show, the DOGE team is working around the clock, and wait till you hear what they discovered illegals are doing with your social security numbers. Then, a woman self-sterilizes in order to stay safe from Trump or something. Then after that, we have a fat personal trainer who is making concentration camp workout plans because of Trump as well. And last but not least, in Urban Decay, we discovered a trans vegan death cult that was responsible for killing a border patrol officer. All this and more, it's Flugga Talks the Podcast, episode 236, ranked the best news podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words. But at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Flugga Talks the Podcast featuring Richard Grabboy.
All right, one for one on the intro, as always. Guys, if you're like me, you grew up on beef jerky. It was a must-have, especially on a road trip. But have you ever looked into the ingredients they're putting in this stuff? Maltodextrin, MSG, synthetic nitrates, artificial flavors, tons of sugar, and allergens like ultra-processed soy and gluten. Not to mention, the big companies get the lowest possible beef they can get their hands on. That's the dilemma. You need protein, but you don't need the chemical-laced globalist schlop they're trying to serve you. That's where Farmer Bill's comes in. Farmer Bill's is a rancher-owned meat processor in South Dakota that sells pasture-raised meat snacks, specifically biltong, which is like jerky but without the bad stuff. Just beef, apple cider vinegar, sea salt, toasted coriander, clove, and white and black pepper. That's it. You can try the 4-pack sampler of pre-sliced biltong, but I recommend the bestseller bundle, which includes the 4-pack and also a half-pound slab and 2 grass-fed tallow bombs, which are perfect for your dry, wintry skin. The pre-sliced biltong is perfect for protein on the go, and the half-pound slab is great for snacking around the house, charcuterie, hosting a party. It's basically a huge dry-aged ribeye that you can slice meat strips off of. It's fantastic. Grab Farmer Bill's bestseller bundle today. You get free shipping, and if you use code FLECKUS15 at checkout, you'll get an additional 15% off. FarmerBillsProvisions.com is the website. It's linked in the description as well. And last but not least, Farmer Bill is also a show watcher. So he supports us. Let's support him right back. And as always, if you guys show me that you made a purchase, I will follow you back on the social media of your choice. Thank you to Farmer Bill for sponsoring. Let's get into housekeeping.
Farmer Bill's Provisions, the perfect protein snack.
All right, thank you to Farmer Bill for sponsoring.
Thank you, Farmer Bill.
We ate a bunch of Farmer Bills over the weekend.
Yeah.
And we also ate a bunch of other stuff, too.
Bunch of disgusting shit.
We've been doing keto 1 meal a day for like weeks, I think a month at this point, and we had our blowout day on the Superbowl. Thai food, pizza, donuts.
Philly cheesesteak,
French fries, chicken
It was like multiple locations, driving around the city.
Driving all over town.
That's how you do it. So one blowout day and it's back to business as usual tomorrow.
Yeah, and I woke up this morning and it's like, I go through all these meals and it's like, all right, 2 pieces of pizza. We're eating a third of the Thai food, half a Philly cheesesteak.
Hey, eating like a Victorian era king.
That's what it is.
You know, 1 bite of each thing and then you move on.
It's all about tastes and bites. Mm-hmm. All right, we have a lot to get to, as I'm sure you guys can imagine. Super Bowl over the weekend, obviously. We're going to start there.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift got booed. And you see she's kind of like surprised and she almost can't believe it. And then she even looks to her friend and goes, "What's going on?"
Never happened before.
Never happened. Well, we're near in a football stadium full of people and Trump's there. You don't really get cheers. It's not like 15-year-old girls.
Yeah, it's interesting. And, you know, I actually have some empathy. I'm starting to feel bad. The shoe's on the other foot. Right-wingers have power. You got blown the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I have a little empathy. I'm like, leave her alone. You know, we don't need to be mean. But they really, and not Taylor per se, but the other side really puts the boot on your neck.
Yeah.
And then it comes over the other way around. And I'm thinking empathetically, you know?
Wow, you're an honorable guy.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it makes me uncomfortable that we're at this level, but, you know, does Taylor deserve it? What's the end result here, you know?
I like it.
All right.
I think
I know that.
I like tribalism.
Okay.
Our side, their side. Anyone from their side, get them.
Okay.
Because that's what they did to us forever.
Very productive.
And then her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, he wore a stupid outfit to the game.
1970s type suit, and somebody said, imagine having to put this back on after that loss.
You get blown out. That just shows he really thought he was going to win.
I know.
And then you get blown out, and you probably feel dumb when you have to go home after the blowout wearing your Boogie Nights outfit.
Didn't you have some sort of bet on the Chiefs, or on Travis Kelce proposing to Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I don't ever promote gambling, but I did see a social parlay, especially with like what I thought were the refs in the Chiefs' back pocket. So I thought the Kansas City Chiefs were going to win, and then Travis Kelce was going to propose to Taylor Swift. It was like a 12-1, so you get 12 times whatever you bet. And I lit that money on fire.
That's gone. The ring stayed in his 1970s groovy pants pockets after that humiliating loss.
And I was looking at it, and they're like down by 35, and I'm like, Travis Kelce needs to do the unthinkable. And it's not come back and score 6 touchdowns. It's propose to Taylor Swift after a blowout loss.
Yeah, like take the mic. The Eagles are doing their MVP celebration. He's like, I just got one thing to say, Taylor.
I kind of saw it. Like I saw the vision, like Kansas City wins, and then Travis Kelce is like, I'm retiring, but I got different plans. Then he takes a knee. Taylor, will you do this with me forever? I bet that.
So this is an anti-gambling show. Fleck lit the money on fire just to show you guys how not to do it.
That's why you don't bet.
Yeah.
All right. As part of the halftime show, Kendrick Lamar, he did his halftime performance, and everyone agrees the halftime show sucked. Rap music like this isn't good. I didn't hear any of the words he said. I heard live was even worse.
Yeah, the words, the enunciation, people who don't know his music and don't know all the words to rap along with are like, what did he say? And then he's wearing bell bottoms. And he's a real little guy, too. So the visual wasn't really there. The audio wasn't there. But then Samuel Jackson had an outfit on, and it was all this artistic black stuff.
Everyone just hates white people.
I think so.
When you look at it and you go, these people hate white people. There's not one white person in the performance. Everyone hates white people. So I saw something on Twitter. It says, Black America built this country. And then, and then someone replied, okay, then explain to me how 200,000 black people built America, but 1.3 billion of the same people could not build Africa.
And she did not reply to that.
She did not reply to that
There's
one.
no answer.
And it's like 1.3 billion people still haven't built Africa. And it's made me think about that. The Chinese built the railways, or at least installed them.
Yeah. In Africa, you mean?
No, in America. Like you know.
And that's only a small percentage.
Yeah, like that. But I'm saying, like, when it comes to, like, built the country, you're like, all right, infrastructure-wise, which group maybe disproportionately helped? It's like the Asians did a lot of work on the railways. I've never heard one of them even mention it. They just keep on grinding and doing whatever they're up to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no one's ever going, I built the train, you know. I don't want to get too deep into the accents. But, you know, you never really hear
a good accent.
Yeah, they don't complain.
Yeah,
They don't complain. They just did it.
They don't credit seek. Nobody else is really credit seeking.
But then imagine credit seeking and then there's no credit. It's like cotton didn't build America.
Yeah.
That was like a small percentage of North and South's GDP.
And then all that wealth that was created based on the backs of slave labor got destroyed in the Civil War.
Yeah.
Right?
And then
So like it got reset, and then who built from there? Let's go from there, right?
And then one time I was in Georgia and there was cotton. Someone had it as like a thing in their house, like in a jar as like a display. And there was like cotton in this little ball. And I went like this.
Picked it out.
And it came right out.
It's just tedious. It's not that hard.
It wasn't hard at all.
You just have to be in the sun. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts there.
We don't want to get too far down the slavery was easy pipeline on the show, but you know, that's not building.
It wasn't that hard. No,
Okay.
It wasn't building.
All right.
All right, let's get into some of the politics of the day. This happened a few days ago, but Joe Biden's security clearance was revoked. Can you read what Trump said?
There's no need for Joe Biden to continue receiving access to classified information. Therefore, we are immediately revoking Joe Biden's security clearances and stopping his daily intelligence briefings.
And then Joe Biden did that to Trump in 2021. Do you think Joe Biden will notice?
His staffers might. The people who are skimming the classified section for inside information to trade on might.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I have a feeling Joe Biden isn't that good at logging into stuff.
He forgot his password, or it's post-it noted to his laptop. Some stuff like that.
So I don't think Joe Biden's even going to notice.
Oh, and it's funny because he did that to Trump. Trump does it back, but with Joe Biden, there was definitely, getting fired with or without cause. There's definitely cause to revoke a dementia-ridden guy's classified briefings, right?
And we'll get more into that later. Next, there was a video from Anonymous. You know that group that's always been, what's the thing
Hackers,
called? V for Vendetta types.
Yeah.
They did a video on Trump, and then we're going to talk about who they really are after. Can you let it play, please?
Greetings, citizens of the United States. The effects of Donald Trump's presidency are no longer distant warnings. They are here, unfolding before you. While many remain unaware, blinded by the administration's relentless efforts to suppress the truth, the rest of the world is watching, and it is responding. Long-standing alliances with key nations such as Canada and Mexico are fracturing inch by inch. The cracks are widening, and the global community is reassessing its trust in the United States. The question is no longer if, but when these relationships will collapse entirely.
Who cares? So basically, Anonymous, like 15 years ago, got raided by the FBI.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, Anonymous has been like a controlled opposition type, and then like pro George Floyd and stuff like that. So the true Anonymous group that existed, the hackers that were trying to expose fraudulent whatever, like they're more in line with what Trump and DOGE are doing now than this group. This is just a psyop at this point.
Yeah, that sounded a lot like globalism and let Canada and Mexico do anything they want type of stuff.
Our relationship with Canada and Mexico is really important.
We have agreements we must hold up to.
Trump should go back to how it was.
Did they do George Floyd?
They did George Floyd in 2020, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all hijacked. So basically they just hijack it and they make it gay. And
Infiltrate, splinter, eliminate the problem people, and then just do the status quo.
yeah, then they
messaging.
hijack it, they subvert, they make it gay like Disney does with the remakes of all their movies.
Classic.
And then here's maybe one of the things that they're pushing back on Trump for. Japan says it will be investing up to $1 trillion in the United States.
But what about Canada and Mexico?
No,
We are anonymous. We will hack your computer.
Anonymous, you have to save us from this. All right, well, let's get right into the story of the month, DOGE, and what they're up to.
Yeah.
I saw this. I thought it was great. President Trump permits Elon Musk to hire 45 new DOGE agents to manage and audit the FBI, CIA, and the Pentagon.
That's the big three.
So they're probably going to 9/11 us for that.
Something.
That's
Something
usually what
coming.
happens. But maybe a lot of money coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where all the money goes, right?
Yeah.
So that should be good.
The Pentagon specifically.
Yeah, the Pentagon for sure. And
CIA, they're an industrious group. They actually make some of their own money that they need to spend on illicit activities. They do an arms deal here to fund something there. We've known that for
Yeah,
Iran-Contra type stuff.
they do the anonymous video.
So they actually have, they're up and coming. They pull themselves up by their bootstraps. But Pentagon and whatever, Pentagon is the huge piece of
Yeah,
that.
CIA's got to be like a small business about it.
Yeah.
It's like, how are we going to make ends meet this month?
A small illegal business. Well, we got that pile of cocaine we took from the cartels, and I think those Nicaraguans really need something.
And we have some weapons from Ukraine.
Yeah.
So obviously the DOGE stuff is great. Everything's being exposed. Every day there's a new horrible thing that we didn't know about.
I said DOGE, I said to Fleckus before this, somebody could like start a podcast just doing DOGE daily updates.
Yeah.
If you're like a middle road content creator and you want to focus on what they're doing, like
Yeah.
you could probably do something, right?
Elam, if you're a show watcher.
Yeah.
I said Elam.
Oh,
And then someone wrote an article for the Washington Post who's against DOGE. It says Trump 2.0, the most damaging first 2 weeks in presidential history.
and it says Trump's second term is all about curtailing government's power and reach.
Isn't that exactly what everyone needs to do?
She's with Anonymous. That's Ruth Marcus. She stands with Anonymous.
Yeah, so limiting the government's power and reach. And it's like that. You're defending the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're on the right track. And then obviously people are still mad at the DOGE guys because they're young and one of them said some stuff online.
Yeah.
And then can you read the original tweet and the response?
Someone said, who cares? This is about the big balls guy who had gotten fired and was a lot of the discourse online was don't fire him for dumb tweets. Somebody said, who cares? Who hasn't said something stupid at 19? You're desperately clinging to cancel culture. And then Will Stansel said, He was put in charge of a payment system that disperses $5 trillion.
Oh, no. And then someone replied to that with my favorite response.
Saying, you can't put a 25-year-old in charge of $5 trillion. That's a job for an advanced dementia patient, worked like a puppet by a legion of kleptomaniac troons. Yeah.
That's what's going on.
I know. And it's like, who was in charge for Biden's whole administration? Staffers, young people, faceless people. This guy at least has a face. And then what are you going to do? Oh, no, he has access to these things. Is he going to commit low-level Social Security fraud?
Maybe open a bank account.
Yeah,
for
I opened a credit card.
$12,000.
I opened a credit card and I ran it up. Like, obviously not, right?
And that's like what they've probably been doing to us. This guy gave like a testimony or something about what's going on with DOGE. And listen to what he says at the end.
In the last week, we had Elon Musk in our building, and after he visited the building, he called for a 50% cut of the entire agency. My colleagues are getting 15-minute one-on-one check-ins with 19, 20, and 21-year-old college graduates asking to justify their existence. Supervisors are being told not to tell their staff anything, withhold information. And today we got word that supervisors must now fill out a justification form, and that there's going to be just a 30% rank and yank of all staff at my agency. And to top it all off, one of Musk's top lieutenants and his wife and young child have shacked up on the 6th floor of our agency and are living there. The hallway's been blocked off with a special access list for people who can't get back there. Queer and trans folks of my agency are being doxxed in public. Their lives.
Queer and trans folks. It's like, gotcha.
All right.
You're fired.
Yeah.
What are the names of the trans people? They're out too.
Folks, is that with an X or a KS? And if you
he
say
goes,
X, you're fired.
That'll do it. And then everyone gasps when he says people are sleeping upstairs because they're working all night to the point where they're sleeping in the office. And everyone goes, oh, my God. That's like them working the hardest you can work.
Yeah, that's grinding. That's investment banking hours, which a federal government employee has never seen. So.
Yeah, so they gasp. There's a funny meme. Bro, for real, what do you even do here? And it's the broccoli head kid doing office space stuff.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Like, everyone keeps saying, like, 19, 20, 21-year-old. It's, guys, you don't need, and we're talking about some of the smartest 19, like, people who worked on Neuralink or whatever, Elon's henchmen, who he recruited for a specific reason because they're really smart. And it's like, you don't think a 21-year-old can discern whether or not we need you, stupid federal employee number 539,000?
Talking about trans folks?
Yeah, it's not even hard, so.
It's not even hard. And then next, we have some interesting updates when it comes to the money that's being sent to New York from FEMA. Can you read that Elon tweet?
Yeah, the DOGE team just discovered that FEMA sent $59 million last week to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegal migrants. Sending this money violated the law and is in gross insubordination to the president's executive order. That money is meant for American disaster relief and instead is being spent on high-end hotels for illegals. A clawback demand will be made today to recoup those funds.
And keep in mind, we obviously have so many issues here. The hurricanes smashed Florida, North Carolina, the fires in LA. All these people needed money and didn't get much. They got like $700. Yeah. Hawaii, East Palestine, Ohio. All these places that just got completely fucked over. And then they're sending $59 million to 5-star hotels housing illegal immigrants.
Yeah, and then who owns those hotels? It's like big business printing off the government's back, right? And especially the most important part about this is last week. This is happening by deeply entrenched bureaucrats. You know, the left is worried about 19-year-olds. Who sent that money?
Yeah.
Who's that person? They need to be publicly humiliated, completely fired. And that's what we're talking about when we keep bringing up like this bureaucratic deep state, like these entrenched, unelected bureaucrats who are going to go against the will of the president and just continue doing the status quo because they think they can sneak $59 million by, right?
Caught him.
Yeah. And then so at DOGE, who caught this? Who found this? Was it a 19-year-old? Was he 20?
Was he working late at night?
Yeah. Was it 2 a.m. ripping a Red Bull? You know, so results are all I care about. evidence of these people who are fucking deeply entrenched in the government doing bad shit that goes against the executive, Trump. It's just horrible.
And keep in mind, Karine Jean-Pierre just a few months ago said this wasn't happening.
So, disaster relief, this is a falsehood. Disaster relief funds used on immigrants illegally in the U.S. The fact is, no money is being diverted from response needs. That's the fact.
Henchmen maxing in the outfit and just lying. Henchmen lie.
So no money. There was such little money going from FEMA to illegal immigrants that it kept happening in a new administration.
Yeah.
That's how little it was happening.
Yeah, exactly. So. And then speaking of New York, Kathy Hochul and Gillibrand warned New York communities will increase property taxes if Trump cuts Department of Education.
Yeah.
So that's like the next thing on the chopping block, the Department of Education. Obviously, it's very inefficient and no one learns anything and it's all administrative.
Results haven't gotten better.
No results. And then they're going to raise taxes for that. So New Yorkers, I'm sure, are going to enjoy that.
And we covered on the show, I mean, the numbers are constantly changing and growing, but I think last we checked, it was $4.5 billion from New York City on migrants alone last year. And as a state, that number is just more astronomical, right?
Yeah, but a little more taxes, though. Everyone's got to pay their fair share for the illegals.
If you're white, middle class, a homeowner, get ready.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Time to leave New York. And then we had, as we mentioned in the intro, a really crazy amount of information came out about Social Security numbers. We obviously know that there's fraud there where companies will give Social Security numbers to illegals working, and they'll give the same one over and over because the names and the Social Security numbers are like decoupled. So there was like a change to the system that allowed this to happen on purpose. And look what Elon tweeted about it.
He said, just learned that the Social Security database is not deduplicated, meaning you can have the same Social Security number many times over, which further enables massive fraud. Your tax dollars are being stolen.
And then there was a tweet that kind of wraps up this into a bigger picture thing.
He said, conspiracy theory no more. 2 reasons why fraudulent Social Security numbers were provided to illegals by Democrats. A, 10,000 illegals using the same exact Social Security number voted in Arizona in 2020 presidential elections. Do we need a disclaimer there? I don't know who this guy is.
Allegedly.
All right, thank you. And B, the reason the radical Democrats don't want an audit of Social Security fraud is because they're scamming off a $1.7 trillion slush fund. It's beyond massive. He said slut fund, 1.7 trillion.
I guess we'll see what it ends up being about.
Yeah, you could have a party.
What they're using the money for.
But yeah, obviously that's a way that all the illegals get around the working issues and being hired, and restaurants just ring it under the illegal Social Security number we use every time. Right?
And then bigger picture, that same idea and same process of using the multiple people using the same Social Security number, you can then parlay that into, we took care of you, now you got to go vote for, I wonder who.
Yeah.
Maybe Trump.
Maybe the people who let you in.
But if there is a thing there. I think DOGE is on the scent there, and if they do figure out some of the 2020 numbers with the same Social Security number voting, I think that would be when the false flag comes.
And what do they say, that flack is always bigger when you're over the target, right?
Yeah.
And so, look at what Democrats are freaking out about and screaming about. They're really obsessed with getting them away from the Treasury. They're really obsessed with the Department of Education. So look at whatever they get the loudest about and kick their feet. That's when you know you're over the target, and that's probably the biggest fraud.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the one. Next, there was an anonymous government worker who is, I guess, whistleblowing Elon.
Why in our conversation do you think you need to remain anonymous?
It has been a very hard week. Personally, professionally, as I said, I live in Washington, D.C. Many of my colleagues work in this field. Starting from January 21st, so the first day of the new administration, things started to go sideways very quickly. The atmosphere of fear that was in the USAID building, which we're no longer in, the atmosphere of fear in terms of not knowing who was in the building, not knowing what their motivations were, not knowing if our emails or channels were safe, not knowing how to interpret these executive orders, right, around DEIA or administration priorities. All of that created an atmosphere of massive insecurity.
Massive insecurity? It sounds like a non-binary type. And then with the inflections at the end of the sentence every time.
Yeah.
And it's like people who talk like this shouldn't be in charge of our money.
I'm not surprised you're anxious because I know that voice and speaking pattern and you're a wreck.
And that person thinks they're like whistleblowing Elon. And it's like, Elon is the whistleblower.
Yeah, he's yelling it. He's like, we're going into USAID today. Gonna clean house.
And then like you're trying to
You're like, what's happening? Are they gonna clean us? Can I talk on my Slack channel?
Yeah, exactly. But like you're whistleblowing the whistleblower.
Yeah.
And then saying, oh, we don't know if our channels are compromised. Your government work email.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, they're compromised.
Tied
buddy.
to your identity. Yeah, no, and that's just the framing battle. That's the media doing the framing battle of whistleblowing the whistleblower. Elon's like, holy shit, look at this spending. DOGE found it. It's like a red flag, blaring red flag, and then put the face mask on and the voice changer, and then it's like, oh no, we're actually doing that to you.
Yeah.
So it's just a battle for framing, and I think they're going to lose because the examples of the spending that we've seen are just like so egregious.
Yeah, and then later in the interview, the anonymous person says that they're taking away money from people who need it the most. It's like, that's not your money, brother.
Yeah.
That's our money. Let's move on to our next USAID related story. Can you read this one?
As it turns out, USAID was, in fact, funding both the Wuhan lab gain-of-function research and Smartmatic election systems.
Got him again.
Great.
Great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. So, we made this the title of last episode, like we're funding our own downfall. It literally is that. Yeah. It's just, and then the ideas that the left had and the progressives have are so not naturally competitive with the rights ideas that they had to just take all of our money to fight us with it.
Yeah, and then think about like who's a more frequent taxpayer, Republicans or Democrats, people who vote Democrats. And like a lot of the people, Democrats still do pay, but a lot of it's capital gains, the super rich side and the donation side. But, the plumbers, the electricians, everybody who goes to work every day funding their own enemy, right?
Yeah. Half the time you spent away from your family was to give money for this.
For Maxine Waters and Chuck Schumer to decide who gets it, and it's Wuhan and
so they could rig the election against you that you voted for. Crazy. All right, last piece of our government waste section. Tucker had an expose about the weapons in Ukraine and where they really ended up.
Second fact, not guess, fact is Ukrainian military is selling a huge percentage, up to half of the arms that we send them. Half. And I'm not guessing about this. I know that for a fact, okay? Not speculation. And they're selling it, and a lot of it's winding up with the drug cartels on our border. So this is a crime, what's happening. Our intel agencies are fully aware of this. You tell me they're not profiting from this. Of course, you think CIA is not profiting from this? Yes, they are.
It's a little side business.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. They're an upstart.
Half of the weapons we sent to Ukraine are basically unaccounted for and making their way into our enemies' hands.
And we said last week that Zelensky himself was saying 100 billion of the 177 billion that we sent to them was missing. So that's well over half. So should we be surprised at this point?
It's like the USAID business model applied to every single thing. Mm-hmm. So it's like for our taxpayer dollars, we send it here and it comes back. For our weapons, we send it here and it goes there. It's the same thing over and over. It's the same, like, pretend to do something good. In reality,
the middleman takes 80% of it. It never really gets there.
Exactly. All right. Well, that's the end of our government waste section. Let's move on to our migrant section. There was a protest, I believe, in LA.
Yeah.
And this white guy gets jumped by everybody.
There he is. Got a 8-on-1, 20-on-1.
Get punched by a bunch of you-know-whats.
By a bunch of Mexicans.
Yeah.
And they really like to stomp when you're down.
Yeah, and they cover their face, and they probably have a fake social security number.
But they want to stay here.
But they want to stay. It's their country, right? Yeah. And then, I think that's actually going to pick up more, especially, for example, like if there is a clawback and then the hotels don't get the payment and then all those people just get released into the street, there's going to be some illegal versus normal American showdowns and fights and chaos, unfortunately.
We'll see. And, DOGE has really taken the spotlight versus the mass deportations, and I'm not happy. I want more. I feel like we need to make more headlines. We're still in that targeted phase where it's like Tren de Aragua members and the real bad criminals. And I want to pump the numbers, guys.
Me too.
So,
all right, let's pump our pace a little bit. Mimetic Sisyphus had a tweet about the new data about young Americans, and it's getting skewed, and we'll tell you why.
Yeah, he said every week there's some new bit of data that shows how different the newest generation is to the older ones. Cultural attitudes, ethics, test scores, just about everything. Then there will be a post about how white Americans are now a minority of the newest generations. The two ideas are rarely linked.
Yeah, so here's the example.
This is kind of these are the effects of mass immigration of whatever ethnicity to the whites becoming a minority. And he says, oh man, young people are shorter, hate white people, think political violence is okay, and are scoring lower on tests. What could possibly be the cause? Perhaps the browning of America?
Perhaps the free ride across the southern border?
Yeah, why Americans are getting shorter. I'm going to wager it has something to do with the Guatemalans.
Yeah, they're all Mexican now. Americans are all Mexican.
Yeah.
So maybe that has something to do with it.
But
they can't read the test well.
But yeah, so we look at all this broad strokes data and then the rapidly changing demographics of America, and then you never think, And this is like what we've been saying. It's like you import the third world, you become the third world. And that's only happened recently. We've only we've relaxed our borders based on these fake asylum claims. But like obviously things are going to change, and it's not for the better. We're not recruiting MacArthur Grant winners from Europe or something.
Yeah, so. It's bad. Yeah. It's bad now.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then obviously it's happening in Europe as well, and we know where those people come from. But look at this tweet Jack Posobiec said.
He said it would be a real shame if word got out about the Irish government in negotiations to bring in thousands of Palestinians from Gaza.
And then there was an Israeli official who tweeted, can you just read the first half of the tweet?
I have instructed the IDF to prepare a plan that will allow any resident of Gaza who wishes to leave to do so to any country willing to receive them. Hamas has used the residents of Gaza as human shields, built its terror infrastructure in the heart of the civilian population, and now holds them hostage, extorting money from them through their humanitarian aid system and preventing their departure from Gaza. The plan will include exit options via land crossings, as well as special arrangements for departure by sea and air. Countries such as Spain, Ireland, Norway, and others, which have falsely accused Israel over its actions in Gaza, are legally obligated to allow Gazans to enter their territory. Their hypocrisy will be exposed if they refuse. Meanwhile, countries like Canada, which has a structured immigration program, have previously expressed willingness to take in residents from Gaza.
What?
So
are you telling me that one of Israel's wars has displaced 2 million third world Muslims and Europe is going to have to absorb them all?
They're legally obligated, according to this random IDF official.
Is that how it works?
That's crazy. I never saw that coming.
What? Is that how it's been going the whole time?
Yeah.
You get into some war for Israel, and then you destabilize Syria or Lebanon and then they all just have to go to Europe now?
Yeah, we'll facilitate land crossings directly to Europe.
What? We have our own people that we need to move out, and we're told that moving 1 million people will take 50 years or whatever.
Yeah, that's what the UK said. Deporting 1 million people would take 75 years, and now it's like get the Gazans.
It's 3 million Gazans
get the Gazans
Europe
to Ireland.
Like that.
And you know what's funny? Back to the Posobiec thing, specifically about Ireland. I saw somebody talking about this, how Ireland and the Irish fought the Anglos for so long, so hard, viciously, just to get kind of like complacent and then backdoor conquered by immigrant rats.
Can't believe it.
Crazy. So Irish people need to stand up. Conor McGregor, elect Conor McGregor, please.
Please. All right, well, that's the end of our migrant section. Going on to our final page of housekeeping where I can say whatever I want. Tickle juice, posts, notifications, P.O. box, like, comment.
All right.
That was an easy one. I didn't want to do the whole thing. Okay, this is very interesting. In Germany, another European nanny state, You know how you get a boat and you smash the bottle to celebrate? It's good luck.
Yeah, what is it? You christen the boat?
Christen the boat. You smash a champagne on it, and everyone goes, yeah, and now you have good luck for your boat. Well, because that's dangerous, they created this contraption.
Oh.
So, yeah, you don't want to put new boat owners in danger of being cut. Leave that to the Muslims with the machetes.
Israeli officials be like, now that the champagne bottle slipped out, you have to take in 12 million Gazans.
Yeah, I don't think them getting cut by glass is their biggest issue. I think it's all the Muslims.
I think it's knife crime in Germany now. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a perfect thing. It's like, oh, for your safety. We've also, by the way, brought in an equal number of civilians from Muslim countries. That's 1-for-1 to native Germans.
Yeah,
but,
they're all men, too.
Yeah, for your safety, you can't, buy a boat and do a little party. Buying a boat, it's like these are boat owners.
Yeah.
That's like, those are good people. Okay, next, there's a Sam Britton update.
Yeah, this
Luggage
is
twink.
Yeah, take it with a grain of salt. This is from some woman on Twitter who I had not heard of before this, but I trust it. She says,
if it's on Twitter, it's true.
Yeah. She says a friend in D.C. who was LinkedIn connected to Sam Britton before and after the luggage stealing incident said Sam Britton changed his name and is now a D.C. consultant type. Always a soft landing for these deranged leftists. So changed his name. And then she also replied later in the thread, said, someone asked if he still is wearing dresses. She said, nope, dresses like a normal dude now.
Trump's America, baby.
So we broke his spirit, that luggage twink.
We win.
The big titty woodshop teacher is back to teaching as a man at a different school in Canada. We win every time.
The W's keep adding up.
I know.
Well, not a W in our next story. It's unfortunate. Key ingredient in plant-based milk linked to colon cancer. Well, you should have had a little hint. Plant-based milk.
What's that? What do they squeeze it out of? They milk the plant?
Well, plants don't make milk. So
one of these types of things, I feel bad because I guess some people get sucked into it. I guess, wait, is almond milk plant-based or is that nut-based? Do they have a specific...
I think almond's a plant.
Well, it's a nut where they get it from, right? They squeeze the almonds.
They squeeze it.
That's
unnatural.
Legumes, I don't know. But this kind of affects the stupid people anyway. It's a self-correcting thing, right?
It's true.
So nobody who was red-blooded American is like worried about this.
That's a good point.
All right.
Next, we have a lesson from BBC Pigeon News. Just something to kind of, maybe print out and put on your wall or something.
If you one climb ladder of success, your two hands no go dey inside pocket.
It's true.
That is true. BBC Pigeon.
Can't climb the ladder to success if you no go dey hands in your pocket.
All right, thank you. I thought you said we were speeding through housekeeping, and then you bring this to me.
Okay, well, it's going to get a little bit better. I get a lot of DMs from people sending me, like, weird schizo stuff or people getting blown up or someone with no arms or whatever. Yeah. A lot of twinks on spring break talking about their plans. I get a lot of that. Someone sent me a compilation of their cursed algorithm, and I wanted to share because it's very relatable.
Push me to the edge.
One hectare.
I love everybody.
Aujourd'hui, j'ai envie de consulter.
All right.
That's what going through my Instagram is like.
We were just having a conversation the other day that like the Rizzler or whatever is now a child star. Mm-hmm. He's a different type of child star on social media. Like it's like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. He's got the same level of fame, right? And then now we just reinvented Barnum and Bailey's freak shows.
Best show on earth.
So there's everything just is a reiteration, Yeah. The same people in the 1800s who were like, ooh, that's a good story.
Bearded lady, fat guy.
If they scrolled on an Instagram algorithm like this, they'd go nuts. So,
well, that's why I'm trying to collect these people and sign deals. I'm not going to get into it, but in bonus land, I will. Oliver Cho and I are negotiating, and he is basically extorting me.
Price went up.
It's insane, and I'm like completely blown away.
All right. Like $200 in mainland China. That should be a monthly salary. We'll get into it later.
We'll get into it. Don't get me started.
Okay.
All right, last piece of housekeeping is this alien caught on camera. Comes down, something, zoomed out, beamed, carries something maybe. What was that, Richard? You're a rational guy.
I don't know. Some sort of camera light trick. Fairy.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, I was actually going to say I'm proud of you. You haven't brought up aliens in like 10 episodes.
We're with DOGE now.
There you go.
There's new stuff to talk about. Absolutely. See, it's all seasonal. All right, well, that's the end of housekeeping. We're moving on to Cringe of the Week. All right, our first clip of Cringe of the Week is another example of how leftists are reacting to Trump's administration. Someone reached out to this personal trainer and listened to what they requested.
I had a personal training client genuinely ask me this week what kind of exercises they can start doing that would be beneficial if they were taken in place in a concentration camp. What a stupid fucking dystopia we're in, where this is something I have to write a program for. Now, I love them and I want them to feel safe, so I am doing it. But it's genuinely insane that this is a thing.
Yeah, genuinely insane, says the fat personal trainer. And let's take a look at his body. Ooh, there he is in his Speedo.
That's your personal trainer. You think you're going to a concentration camp, and that's your personal trainer.
So it's just like multiple levels of delusional thinking. Like first, the first delusional alternative reality is the client is delusional for hiring a fat personal trainer.
Yep.
And then there's another level to it where the fat personal trainer is delusional into thinking that he needs to write a workout for someone going into Trump's concentration camps.
Instead of saying, oh, no, there's not going to be any concentration camps, it's like, guess I'll write the program for my retard client who chose a fat personal trainer. So these people are actually matched up pretty well.
They are matched up pretty good.
So I don't know, penalties offset, replay first down? Or?
I think so. Or maybe he could reply, I think there'll be like manual labor you'll be doing. That'll count as your workout.
Yeah.
You don't have to get your steps in when you're in the concentration camp.
So, and then in the original video, when this guy was saying, he goes, oh, I can't believe they asked me to do a concentration camp program, and I can't believe that's the reality we live in. When he could have said, I can't believe they think that. He had the chance to be like, this guy's nuts.
The sentence was going, and then it went off the rails.
Yeah. So, fat personal trainer telling his manic client that, yes, I will write a program for you. I don't know. Does intervention, someone committing either of these people, or...
I like that they live in this reality.
Yeah.
It's like everyone lives in their own reality, and then all those realities kind of like overlap here and there, and then it's like a global conscious reality of like made up of all of them put together. But there's some people in America who live in a very different world than we do.
And we showed that guy last week who went to the DMV to get his gender put back from X to man or whatever so he could get his passport ready to flee America. And then this guy thinks there are concentration camps coming. And then wouldn't you be doing more extreme things than headed to the DMV or getting a personal training program going?
It's like, hey, man, forget working out for a while. You just got to load up on ammo.
Yeah, I'm going off on the lam. I'm overtaking a homestead or something. There's like a digging your heels in.
I'm gonna do some gun training, just because the concentration camp stuff's coming.
Yeah, because someone's coming for me, right? But instead, it's just acting out on social media. And then the fat personal trainer, obviously, he posted that video of him in the Speedo. This is all his content, is being like, I'm fat, I'm a disgusting pig, but I can still be a personal trainer. And that's another thing, like the Barnum and Bailey's freak show thing. This guy is like a WWE like wrestling heel just online. He posts something, and it doesn't go to anyone who wants a fat personal trainer. It just goes to 5,000 haters online who immediately fight him in the comments.
They comment, and then it gets more engagement, and then it goes viral. And then this guy's real full-time job is like wrestling in the comments.
Yeah, engagement farming. And so I guess, I don't know, it's all made up or something. Maybe it's just for fun, but I think there was a real concentration camp conversation out there.
Big time. Him in that Speedo looks like someone I know. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to get people mad during the show.
Someone on the show. Looks like someone on the show.
It's Nick, unseen Nick, the editor. That's exactly what he looks like. All right, next, another person, speaking of living in alternate realities.
Yeah, Trump world, alternate realities.
Trump alternate realities. Can you read the headline, what this woman did to herself?
Michigan state rep reveals she voluntarily sterilized herself to avoid pregnancy under Trump. And here's a quote from her. "If you know people who are questioning how serious this is, I'm going to repeat myself. A sitting government official opted for voluntary sterilization because she was uncertain she would be able to access contraception in the future."
What are you talking about?
She's just making it up. And then like this article went on to say like she had no proof. She never said anything. Like it could have all just been a PR stunt.
Seems like just like an unwell person who had a government job.
Yeah.
Which is maybe something DOGE can get to the bottom of.
And then it doesn't matter. Whatever you do doesn't matter unless you attention seek and blame Trump for it.
Yeah.
So
and like, this is how bad Trump is. It's getting to the point where people are sterilizing themselves because we can't trust Trump's America.
Hey, this is how bad Trump is. I went crazy. And that's supposed to be the evidence, right?
I wouldn't go crazy for nothing. Yeah. I was like, you kind of did.
You know how bad Trump is? That USAID employee had to go and blur their face and do an anonymous interview. It's the exact same thing, but just with different levels of insanity to it, right?
Yeah, as always. Next, we have an interesting story. Men are flocking to female-dominated yoga and Pilates classes, and women are enraged. We all secretly hate you.
Wow.
That's weird. You guys should have really thought about that before the Boy Scouts, video games, the military, women football referees, trams.
Yeah, well, that's actually men. Those are men.
I just throw trans in there because women all, feel bad for trans people, so they have to let them ruin everything.
Hey, yoga and Pilates, we're coming, ladies. You got that woman referee job, though.
Yeah.
She can throw the flag now.
Everyone's the same. It's a spectrum. It's fluid. It's just it's the same as a girl working out. And I don't feel bad for them at all unless it's Canada and it's Indians. Because then they're probably being inappropriate. You should have some limits. No men in the class.
And I'm willing to go back to these limits. No men in yoga and Pilates, or make it men-only classes every once in a while if we can have our spaces back too, ladies. I'm talking all-male golf clubs.
Yeah.
I'm talking
with maybe even some more limits on those golf clubs.
Yeah.
Which type of men?
Maybe 1959 era rules. We'll see. But I mean, I don't know. They read an article about it as if women haven't stepped on every single male industry except the unglamorous bad ones, like being a garbage man.
Yeah.
That's still 98% men.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to our next story. These are librarians posting on like TikTok, and this is what they post.
They say when working at a library doesn't mean you can just read all day. So they're doing a little joke that they're mad that they actually have to do work at the library instead of reading. But
I don't know. I have a feeling that USAID is somehow paying for this.
Yeah.
I just see that and I go, all right, Elon, over here. They're doing something with the money. This doesn't seem like a natural business.
What do you think's in the teen collection at that library?
Oh, nothing appropriate.
Queer and POC voices only with this big overalls wearing, bull nose ring tattooed.
Butch with the haircut, the mullet. And they probably have like a safe space thing where you can come and read books about changing your gender.
Yeah, they have all the banned books, but they're not really the banned books. They're books that are readily available on Amazon and every website. And they're just gay and some Republican didn't want them in a classroom. But man, something happened. This is an area they took. Libraries and these type of roles. And then you shouldn't be wearing overalls with that body type.
Well, they do that on purpose to make it even worse. It's like if you're not that good looking, instead of improving it and going, okay, I could lose a little weight, I can fix my hair, maybe throw some mascara on. They go, oh, no, I'm going to do green mascara and I'm going to shave the side of my head and I'm going to wear the bulkiest outfit that makes me look the fattest. They go in the opposite direction.
And guess what kind of books I'm going to give your kid?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the end of Cringe of the Week. We are now moving on to Urban Decay. We have an interesting collection here. First is a fight on Alaska Airlines.
Let's go over here. Let's go look for hair, sir.
I'm gonna chill back here with y'all. I'm not trying to deal with them. You mind if I sit right here, boss?
It's like fighting in a dream where you can't like land a punch to knock the guy out.
You have no recoil.
You're just like trying to hit him, and it's right there, and he won't go to sleep.
And that's the flight attendant hitting him.
He's
on an
calling
Alaska Airlines flight
with that hammer fist, and you have like this much back swing.
That's white Urban Decay.
That's white under Urban Decay.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it. White Urban Decay. Told you. Okay. Everyone, once in 200 episodes, a white guy does something.
There you go.
All right. Next, the cops confront a guy who refused to pay for his lap dance tab.
On there, she goes 35 for 30 minutes. I get to the back, and she wasn't being clear on the instructions. She starts telling me that's the first song, that's the second song, and then I was like, okay, after 30 minutes, I was like, okay, I'll pay you my 35, and I get up to pay her the 35, and then afterwards, she's like, you owe 175. I was like, that's not what I agreed on. That's not what we negotiated on.
Okay.
So I don't know how it increased by that dramatic of a number, from a 35 bill to a 175 bill.
Okay, test for you. How much did he think she was going to be charged, and how much was he actually charged?
He thought it was $35 for 30 minutes, and then instead, after the 30 minutes, it was $175.
Easy, right? That's like a ACT level 0, grade 1 question. Let's see how the cop reacts to that.
Okay, so
she wasn't being clear.
Okay, so you were under the impression that you were to pay $135?
No, $35.
$35.
Yeah, $35.
And then it increased to $75.
$175.
$175.
He's using his hands. He's saying 35. Like, please just understand this.
This overweight woman cop got both numbers wrong after he repeated it like 4 times in the story. That's not even the point of the video, but it's just something I noticed.
And then she was offering prostitution in the process, a $900 prostitution bill.
Okay, so
And then she was offering a room for $200. I don't know what the heck's going on.
Got it. Okay. All right, so you didn't pay the tab at all?
No, I said I'll pay the $35, and that's what I was trying to tell them. That's fair to me.
Okay, so it's not about what's fair, it's about what's owed.
Well, that's what she negotiated with me. She told me 35 for 30 minutes.
So the strippers shake him down.
Yeah.
They bait and switch.
That's why you don't hang out at strip clubs, right?
Exactly. That's what they do. And like you mentioned, they're doing a prostitution ring there as well. And then the cop can't even understand and then goes, well, it's not about what you pay, it's about what you owe. So she's like siding with the strippers.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing. This is like a shakedown thing. The strippers, this guy made it past that initial shakedown level where you're like embarrassed and whatever.
You're embarrassed, girl. Just 175. Take it.
I want to get out of here. He's like, okay, fine. Call the cops. I'm right. They did say 35.
You guys are running a prostitution ring here.
But then the cop comes and they have an 85 IQ and can't even keep the numbers straight. And then they side with the strippers.
He's lucky she didn't discharge her weapon at him.
Yeah. Taser.
Oh, supervisor, please.
And it's a real gun and she blows him away.
All right, next, let's get to the bad cruise behavior.
What was the point there? Why'd you put that in?
Just to show people getting shaken down by strippers.
Okay, yeah.
And then a stupid cop who can't keep up. And then it's like, you're so clearly in the right. And then a cop who's stupid, in this case, you're not even that right if the cop can't understand.
Yeah,
so you're only as right as like whoever
if you can't
you're
explain it.
Exactly. You're only as right as like the person who's receiving the information with authority and how smart they are.
So I think that's why it's peak season to stay out of bad situations, because the moderators, the arbiters come in and they're retarded.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Some of them. So obviously there are pockets.
Yeah, there's so many good cops that watch the show, especially. We're not making fun of cops. We're making fun of that cop.
Yeah, that's a horrible cop.
All right, let's get to some bad cruise behavior. So they're on a cruise ship. There's kids in line.
Trying to get into the jacuzzi, and you see a giant, fat, twerking black ass.
She twerking her shit.
Auntie twerking on uncle, and 3 5 to 7-year-olds are waiting to get in.
And if you say something, like in other cruise ship situations, there's probably going to be a fight that gets people put in the cruise jail.
They call it the brig, and after the deck chairs start flying, the brig gets full. So what do? You don't even confront. You just film and hope your kids have a normal life and it didn't affect them too much.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you do confront, I'm sure you'll get, I'm on vacation. I paid for this cruise. I paid for this cruise. I do what I want. I paid for this cruze.
It's a vicious cycle, guys.
It's a vicious cycle.
And then the cops come and then she goes, wait, so she paid for the cruise? Well, you paid for the cruise.
And she's just having fun on the cruise and you're mad she's having fun. It's like,
It gets real stupid,
Can't
guys.
we just be normal common sense? All right, our last story of Urban Decay is the trans vegan death cult.
Yeah, so this was the original story from a couple weeks ago. I think it was right after the inauguration. Yeah, it was January 31st is when this article was published. It says, manhunt underway for woman linked to killing of Vermont Border Patrol agent, report. So someone in kind of rural Vermont was pulled over by Border Patrol. Shots were fired. A Border Patrol agent went down. One of the people in the car, both of the people in the car, the shooters, got shot. One's dead. And then new details emerged that basically there was more to this crime than meets the eye. You would think it was something related with Trump or illegal Mexicans or something like that in Vermont. But I'm going to read a little bit from the article. The murder of a U.S. Border Patrol agent near the Canadian border appears to be linked to a radical leftist trans militant cult accused of killings across the country. Around a week before the January 20th attack, federal law enforcement had been surveilling German national Felix Ophelia Bockholt and University of Washington student Teresa Milo Consuelo Youngblood. Staff at a hotel alerted authorities about seeing the duo with firearms and black tactical clothing. So they were acting sketchy up in Vermont, rooting around. And that's I think that's a guy and a girl, and they both have a guy's name and a girl's name. They got backwards and flipped.
They switched.
Authorities now say the guns used by Youngblood and Bockholt are owned by a person of interest in other murders and connected to a mysterious cult of transgender geniuses who follow a trans leader named Jack Lasoda, also known by the alias Ziz. Bockholt was a biological male who identified as trans and used feminine pronouns. He was an award-winning youth math genius from Freiburg, Germany, who later graduated from the University of Waterloo in Ontario, Canada. And so here's Youngblood right here. That's Ophelia, looking a little mannish. And he was hired as a quantitative trader at Tower Research Capital in New York. So it's like these are smart people who got their wires crossed, uncooked pork, as you would say. You got some worms in your body. Here's another picture. So you see the glasses, the pink. That's
the cooked brain.
The cooked brain, the hormones all fried. And then this is a long article that's all about these different crimes. And it's like one of them was their landlord. And then another was one of the other members' parents. And they were all kind of unsolved until this case kind of came to a head and the same gun was used in multiple of them. And let's just go through the pictures because this is a trans vegan militant cult. And then they're all like arrested now, or some of them are on the run, and they demanded that they have vegan lawyers. So that's what they're up to. Here's one. This is the leader, Jack Ziz Lasoda. He's a guy, thinks he's a lady. Here's another one, Alexander Somni Letham. He's
who could see that coming?
Yeah. Who would think this young woman would be in a death situation? And then here's another one, Emma Borhanian. So that's Emma, Ziz, and Somni. I don't know.
Amir could have just been normal.
Yeah.
He could have been like a TikTok guy.
I know. And then here's another one, Michelle Jacqueline Zajko. And I can't tell what that is. I'm getting to the point where I just look at these pictures and I go, something ain't right.
Jail.
I don't know who's going to which gender. But this one, her parents were dead, or his, I don't even know. But so, hey, I don't know.
What's the lesson here?
There's no lesson. It's trans people are getting more murderous and dangerous.
I think the lesson...
Stay away.
Yeah. And the lesson is when you see trans people with black tactical gear and like loading up their weapons and accumulating ammo and practicing at the firing range, you see something, you say something. I'm a 2A guy. Everyone should have guns and whatever. But trans people are mentally ill and have issues. And when then they're practicing and they're really excited and they're all wearing the outfits and got backpacks full of ammo, it's not going to be a good thing.
Yeah, so shout out to the Vermont hotel person who called that one in because you uncovered, they started pulling a thread. They go, oh my God, trans vegan death cult. And that's what's happening in America these days.
And if you're a show watcher, hotel call-in person, we'll send you some shirts.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I was going to say, that's a long shot, but Vermont.
And if you guys know who called them in, tell them, and we'll get them some shirts. Yeah. All right, don't get too down or too depressed. That is the end of Urban Decay. We're moving on to Uplifting Gold. All right, our first clip of Uplifting Gold is a girl who's working out at the gym, and someone asked if she needs a spot, and look what happens. Says, I was benching in the gym.
While I was upping the weight, a stranger walked past.
She says, you need a spot, let me know. She goes, can you help me now? And then he gives her a spot. And then he helps her through some reps at the end there. And then he ends up giving advice. You know, explains all the stuff, shows some form. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, gym culture is a nice thing.
But in today's age, a girl at the gym, I don't need a spot.
You looking at my ass?
Stop looking at me. Leave me alone. This is my safe place. I just want to work out. I don't need a spot. And then if you say yes, the guy gives you a spot and he tells you a bunch of workout tips that he's probably accumulated over 50 years. Mm-hmm. And that's great. And you have a nice interaction and no one's doing anything. No one's trying to get you.
Yeah.
But today, like most girls who film themselves at the gym, oh, I'm getting harassed. People are always looking at me, ask if they need a spot. I don't need a spot. I bench more than you, or like whatever they think they do. But then that's actually how it plays out a lot of the times.
Yeah, for sure.
And you still shouldn't be wearing just a sports bra to the gym.
That's fair. I think that was kind of a bad spot, too. He didn't wait for the bar to start going back down until he helped.
Well, you knew she didn't have it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, next.
I always wait for the bar to go negative. I have to see it go down before I step in. Because I've seen some people go like this, and they go crazy, and they inch it up.
With man strength, probably.
Yeah, you're right. No women.
And then
I've never seen a woman do that.
When it goes back down, do you grab and just pull it off? Or do you help them
It depends. I usually would have a conversation before.
I'm a guy.
But yeah, pull it off. I mean, unless you're looking to do negatives or half reps, I'm not like forcing you to do anything.
I'm a spotter where if you're starting to get stalemated, I'll come in with just the smallest amount of pressure that gets it all the way up the whole way. So you're getting that last rep even though you didn't get it naturally.
Okay. I was going to say there's different philosophies, but you wouldn't do that until the bar started going negative.
Until it stopped entirely.
Which is basically the same thing.
The problem is once it goes negative, the person's done.
No, they'll come around.
But I just help it. And then I say I helped a little on that last one.
The going negative thing is really more for like 1 rep or like 2 or 3 rep maxes too, is what I'm saying.
And exactly. And if you're going for a max and then it goes negative, you just get it pulled off your chest.
Exactly.
You didn't get it.
Exactly.
But that, it's like you're doing 2 reps and you failed on the 3rd and we'll give you 1 more fake one.
That's true.
It's there's different types of spotting.
That's true.
Next is an unstoppable inbound pass play. So they come in, boom, 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 and they pass it around in the air. And they do it a lot. They throw it high, he catches it, he alley-oops.
Boom.
Kind of sick.
Yeah.
Is it unstoppable? I guess you could jump early and just swat it.
Is it unstoppable? Not if you've seen film.
Yeah.
Not if you go, hey guys, bring it in. This team runs this play every fucking time at the baseline.
Here it is. And you show it on your iPad.
So just get ready and block them. That's it.
That's a good point.
So it works for 1 game, I guess. Good shit.
All right. Next is a new pitching windup I've never seen.
Punch in, dugout.
Dang, 450-foot home run. You were fucking around too much.
Is that good?
No, I don't know. If it was good, wouldn't somebody have done it before?
And it seems like wasted motion, and then he just does a normal pitch at the very end.
Yeah, try getting into that rhythm. All right, you got someone on first base. Okay, I'm back to
He spun. He turned his back to me.
I mean, obviously he wouldn't do that wind up with someone on base, but I don't know. Seems retarded.
A little retarded.
Any baseball players out there? Let us know.
Let us know. All right, next is a proposal in the woods, and look what happens at the end. So they're at the woods. He proposes. They're super happy. They're at their hunting camp. It's the end of the show. I would say we're going to fast forward, but
let's fast forward it.
We'll fast forward it a little bit.
Yes, a deer in the background.
And then he sees the deer. That was pretty good. You get proposed, you get the thing, you shoot the deer.
There you go.
Killed that deer.
There you go. That's uplifting. Oh, thank you.
That's uplifting.
Killed that deer dead.
And you got a wife now.
And now you got meat.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, our last clip for the whole show is a shout out, I believe, from a police officer, or is this just a person watching a police? It was sent to me as
It's a police officer.
It's a police officer at a police-involved shooting, I believe.
Fleckus Talks, the podcast, the best news podcast of all time.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I think it was a cop at a murder call. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he wanted us to shout him out.
Well, maybe we'll blur.
You can see, and I know the town because I'm from the state.
We're gonna blur.
That's a bad town.
Yeah,
there are a lot of murders in that town.
We had to blur the police cruiser's side so no one knows what city that is.
All right.
But thank you for the shout out. We love the police, except for that one cop.
Except for that one cop, and then a lot of ones that got hired for bad reasons.
Yeah, except for the bad ones. We love the good ones. And then also, if you're a cop, well, I guess it would only work in Florida.
What?
I was gonna say, send us PBA cards.
Yeah,
we got one. We got one from New York. I'm not gonna say the specific precinct, but they're major show watchers, and we love you guys. I haven't used it yet.
Haven't been speeding in New York recently, so.
But that was 2024, so hopefully it still works 2025. And if I got pulled over in Florida, I'd still show it because New York and Florida, you know, brother.
They probably have a transfer down here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if you guys are PBA people or you have PBA cards in Florida, please send them to us.
All right, cool.
Thank you guys for watching. The Fleckus Talks in the books. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. FleckusTalks.com for bonus land dropping right now. If you're watching right now, check out the 30-minute bonus land that's dropped as well. You're going to love it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on Friday.